Today we're making my version of sourdough bread. It is a very easy recipe that you prepare in the evening and you can bake it in the morning. It starts with 520 grams of flour. I usually use about 460 to 480 grams of normal flour, and then I add about 60 to 80 grams of whole grain flour. And since I don't have a scale, I'm just eyeballing it. Then I'm adding 385 milliliters of water with 90 grams of sourdough starter or less, depending on how sour you like your bread. And now I'm going to show you how the sourdough starter looks like. You can see that it is really bubbly, and some people say that if your starter is like really good, then it floats. So we're going to check. Right now it doesn't float, but I'm sure the bread will be fine as anyways, because it usually is. Oh yeah, it does float a little bit. Yeah, you can see the pieces going up. But usually when it looks airy as this, then it's fine to use. Again, I don't have a weighing scale, so I'll just use 2 or 3 tablespoons. Mix it up. And then I'm going to add it to the flour, but I forgot to add salt. And the salt is very important. It makes the bread taste really nice, and also it changes the structure of the dough. It's gonna work. Two teaspoons. Oops. Another teaspoon, and that should be about 12 grams. So mix it up a little bit, and then I'm going to throw in this. I always keep a little bit behind because I don't really know how much flour I put in, and I don't want to put too much water because I can always add a little bit afterwards. After about 1 minute of mixing, you can see that the consistency is already a lot better looking, and we will just leave it on the counter for 15 minutes from now, and then I'll show you how to do the stretch and folds, which are also very easy. Okay, so now we have waited for about 15 minutes. And as you can see, the dough is already a lot more like chewing gum. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wet my hands. I have a bowl of water here. I'm just putting my hand in so that my hand doesn't stick to the dough. And then I'm pulling it from the bottom and stick it in inside. Wet my hands again. Pulling it from the bottom, stick it in the middle. Pulling it from the bottom, like this. I'm twisting the bowl around a little bit so that I can easily do this. And that's just about it. So this is the next morning. I rested the dough overnight with a wet towel on top. And I prepared a bowl with parchment paper. Now I'm wetting my hands and I'm slowly detaching the dough from the bowl. After which I'm slowly lifting it up so that it becomes very long. And then I'm trying to fold it back. I will wet my hands again. Turn the bowl a quarter and repeat it. And the main idea here is that the dough is stretched a bit so that there's more gluten developing. Now I'm placing the dough back into the bowl lined with parchment paper, and after an hour or hour and a half, I can put it in a pre-warmed Dutch oven and bake it for about 45 minutes. The Dutch oven makes sure that the steam out of the bread creates a very crispy crust, and you can put the lid off after half an hour. The pan is really hot by placing it in the oven at least 30 minutes before you start baking the bread. Put the oven on the highest temperature.